YouTube. I typically reserve trade alerts for my Patreon community, and I've already sent that out to them, visuals and all that stuff, but I don't know. This one I think could get kind of nasty, so I wanted to give everybody a heads up. I don't know. I think this one could be pretty severe, starting now, literally right now. So I've had this box drawn in for quite a while. I really thought ETH had a chance of coming up here on a last gasp of air. I really didn't expect that, as though Bitcoin took the path number 2 that I laid out in my recent YouTube video. So if you want to see how well, I mean, just look. Look at this orange line and look at price, right? So I mapped that out when price was over here, as you all saw, or most of you saw in that video. And as Bitcoin was printing this lower high here, lower than this high, right? So it's lower than this high. ETH is creating a severely higher high, or I don't know if severely is the right word, but a significantly higher high. I guess it's not too significant, but it's whatever. It's a higher high. Pumped really big time with big market buyers as long positions, at least on Bitfinex, but I could look up CryptoQuant long positions, whatever. But I mean, longs are just tanking. And I think the longs were from whales. And I think the shorts at the bottom of the triangle, remember I said I think the shorts are from retail folks because it's too chaotic. And I had a lot of people say, no, you're wrong. You got it backwards. You know, it's going to crash from here. It's the whales who have the short position. I was like, no, we're going to find out after it pumps because, you know, I don't think there's any YouTuber calling for a pump at the bottom of the triangle at 31.6. As I was covering, as I thought would happen, but it was against the trend, so I warned against it, even though I covered it like 3 days in a row. So I'm pretty certain that longs right now are being dropped by whales. Institutions, hedge funds, or whatever. And I think that Ethereum is being pumped to the upside to get people to take on a little bit more longs on Bitcoin and Ethereum so that more shorts can be taken on slowly. And this is the exact same setup in context, in the very grand scheme of context, what happened here. When ETH did this, when it was manipulated to the upside, whether you believe it or not, this was not retail people. This was not normal people buying Ethereum. It doesn't move like this. And I've already covered this multiple times on my channel. You don't get pumps, sustained pumps like that. It's a little bit more violent. And it can still pump from here to here in the same exact time frame, but that's not how it gets there ever. Not once in Ethereum history. Once ever. All right? So I already can confirm within my, you know, I don't want to say I believe. I don't like that word. I like to have an opinion that I'm willing to change rather easily, but it's a pretty good opinion, in my opinion, but I'm willing to change it if somebody presents better information. Anyway, so this is exact. So if you want to see this first day here, right here, that first big pump, to April 26th, and you'll see April 26th, this candle right there is the same day Bitcoin started not pumping, but going up to form a lower high before the big dump. So let's go to April 26th on Bitcoin on the daily chart. That is right, probably here. This is probably the 25th day before. Nope, that's also the 26th. And Ethereum made insane highs like this as Bitcoin made a lower measly high. And it was to trick people that the market, and it tricked me, right? I've already covered this multiple times. It was my I'm sorry video, I was wrong video, whatever. I think it's the same thing that's happened to a lesser extent, but I think the consequence of this bull trap, if it does end up, I'm pretty sure it's a bull trap to a certain degree. And when I say bull trap, it might not go down to 32K or anything like that. I'm thinking like 36.5 or 34.8 or something like that, maybe 32. Maybe even lower. I don't know. But, you know, I would still say bull trap to get people long before it corrects down to, let's say, 36.5, something like that, right? Like 36.5 is my first target. And so the same concept is happening right here that happened, or right now that happened here, but it's on a shorter time frame, right? So it's not over like a weekly and monthly scale. It's happening. Let's go to like the 4 hour. Bitcoin doing lower high, much lower, as Ethereum, much higher high, aggressive, like fairly aggressive. And if you want to look at this, check this crap out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's skip this, pretend it didn't happen. 8, 9, 9.5. Almost 10 days of green candles. That actually in Ethereum that has happened a couple times. But what happens right after? It comes back down to check its daily 10. It does. And sometimes it does it the very next day. And sometimes that last candle is a red candle, right? And this is the wick up of the red candle before a big move down. But I would assume, yeah, it actually might happen today. This could end up being a wick of a red candle, I'm telling you. Could happen the next day, but I think Ethereum's getting ready to head down to like 2100 or something. Within about 3 to 4 I would say by Tuesday, Wednesday next week, which would be early August. I don't know. I think this is a trap, folks. And even if it's not, say this. Okay, you have roughly 10 green days in a row. You're not supposed to be buying and longing 10 green candles in a row. You don't do that kind of shit. If you see 10 green candles, wait for a retracement, some type of test of the daily 10, and then long it if you think it's going to continue. So this is baiting people and bots and stuff. Like, no one in their right mind would be longing after essentially 10 green candles on Ethereum, and Bitcoin broke a record. Modern history record of Bitcoin. This has never happened. It did print, so this candle did print freaking green. I didn't think it would. It was a doji at the top, which is a reversal signal. Even if it's green, it doesn't matter. It's a doji at the top after a monster, a relatively aggressive move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That has not happened since 2010, when Bitcoin was like $1. So in modern history, it just set a record. So if you're not taking profits, as there are record-setting green candles, just like if you didn't take profits on a monthly scale when Bitcoin was tied 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, tied for 6-month record. If you didn't take profits around there and or in the next month, you were kind of silly because you know what happened afterward. That's why I warned about that. But I'm telling you now, guys, this needs to come down and touch the daily 10. I'm telling you. Like I feel pretty certain about it. I don't want to say the word 90% ever again in my life as an estimate, but I'm here. I'm only like, this is typically Patreon content, but I think this could be nasty enough where, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people get screwed on this. And and that's, I hope you all know that that's why I'm here. That's why I even started doing YouTube. I just tried to help people take profits and not get screwed by buying theta after YouTubers say, you need exposure to this, after it went on a 3,000% run, and then you're 70% down 2 weeks later. Because people don't know what they're doing when they're buying, because they're listening to YouTubers saying you need exposure. And the only reason why they're saying they need exposure, because they want your clicks, because theta's going crazy, and that's why they made a video on it. But that's the worst time to be buying it. I'm telling you. When YouTubers talk about crap, just look at the graph. It's freaking green and straight up. That's the worst time to be buying it. So anyway, sorry for that tangent. But so my purpose, my true north on YouTube is, I don't know, I just want y'all to be profitable, and in the way to be profitable is to click buy at right times, roughly right times, good guesstimates over time, but specifically to take your freaking profits, and not get screwed. And so I think that Ethereum going up like this with somebody without much TA background, that could get you bullish and take long right before Bitcoin tanks back down to 34.8. I think that's my favorite target is 34.8. My maybe tied for first favorite target is about 36 to 36.5. This little box area here, and then 34.8 specifically where these lines meet is my second. Is actually my favorite line for a retracement down, which would be a wick under the daily 21, which could happen. Honestly, if I knew better and I only were trading EMAs, which often I do, I would actually pick the top line because Bitcoin's 10 EMA just flew above. And honestly, Bitcoin does have the habit of strong moves, just wicking down to it and then charging right back up. So, I mean, hell, it might not even hit. It might not hit both of these. I would say, crap. I don't know, but it just had a record-setting amount of candles. So I would say the wick below the daily 21, and then it closes above it. I think it's going to come down and touch this line. This was a record-setting move, specifically under the parameters of the number of green days in a row. Record-setting move, just like the record-tying move of 6 months in a row. And I warned against it. The next month ain't going to be green, right? So I'm telling you all again, and I'm probably going to be right again. Even though I was wrong. I thought that doji candle was going to be red, and I didn't think it was going to set a record. And look, it squeaked it out by how many dollars? Son of a bitch. 16. Oh, $20 above being red. So that's a doji candle. Okay, so you have a doji candle at the end of a record-setting run under specific parameters, but good parameters. These aren't like, like parameters trying to make data to fit my narrative, right? That's not what, like, this is a real parameter. And you have a doji at the top. It doesn't matter if it's red or green. It doesn't matter. It's a doji at the top of a record-setting freaking move up. As Ethereum is being pumped up, and I think it's being pumped by folks who want you to get long and take on longs and stuff right before it comes down fairly aggressively. And it might not come down very low. It just might come down quickly. Or it just might, march its way down for several days and have next week be red. So allowing this week to be green would mean small red candles. And then when the new week starts, then maybe a couple big red candles or something to that, or one big red candle. And then the week closes barely red because it started up here or something. And then perhaps the move would continue up to 48K. I really don't know. But I think there's going to be I think this is a liquidation move, folks. I'm telling you. And I think there's a 89.9% chance. No, not that high. I'm not going to say 90. I just think, I really think there's a strong chance. So I can't stress this enough. Not financial advice. Taking longs after record-setting moves up is stupid. Just like shorting the bottom of a freaking range is kind of dumb, in my opinion. I like to long bottoms of ranges and allow myself to get wicked out if it breaks through the bottom of the range. And then try it again. I don't short bottom of ranges. So I'm trying to suggest strongly against longing the top of a range. Because the range is compared to that pump up to 41,300 right here, and it's a lower high. So in this massive range here. And these, actually, let me zoom out. And these two boxes together, kind of like a range. But Bitcoin has now moved back into this range. Okay? And so it's at the top of a range. With Ethereum being pumped up to get people more bullish at the top of a range. Just like all YouTubers on Earth besides me almost. I really don't know. I only watch a few YouTubers, but they were all bearish pretty much because, it's the trend. Like, trend is your friend, right? But I like catching reversals. Like, everybody was bearish here. I bet there are a lot of people getting shorts here, thinking it's going to break out of this because it was closing daily candles below, right? Oh, and I was longing it. And I made a lot of money doing that. A lot of money. Actually, that was the biggest amount of money I've made since maybe back here. Longing this precisely. I put my money where my mouth was making those videos, and it worked out freaking beautifully. And right now, I'm adding slightly to my shorts, and then after seeing Ethereum do this crap, I shorted the shit out of Ethereum when it hit the top of this box. Not the shit. I didn't bet the house. Yeah, I don't really like using a bunch of leverage with a high amount of my account. Honestly, out of all my crypto money, I typically only like about 5% inside of futures. The rest of my money, I like doing spot or using those 3S tokens, 3S and 3L tokens, right? that you can do on something like KuCoin and Huobi, where if Bitcoin goes up 10%, the 3L or 3 long coin, so BTC 3L goes up 30% if Bitcoin goes up 10, for example. And if Bitcoin drops 10%, the 3S coin or short, 3 times short, which you can't get liquidated, but your account will drop quickly if you hold that coin, it goes the wrong way. But if Bitcoin drops 10%, you're holding a 3S, S for short, L for long. If you're holding the 3S coin, Bitcoin drops 10%, you get a 30% gain, right? So I like playing with those coins, kind of, and perhaps with more than 5% of my account. And that's kind of what I'm doing here. But I used a little bit in futures, and I bought some 3S coins right here. It worked out beautifully for me here, and I'm having a feeling that it's going to work out not quite as well as this big move, but maybe halfway down. Because I'm shorting the top of a range after a monumental move, record-setting move that clearly smells like a freaking trap. Bitcoin printing lower highs as Ethereum makes an aggressive move up to make a higher high. I know, and everybody loves to buy tops and sell bottoms, and that's how people like me make money. Profitable traders, we take money from people who do that. That's literally, so the way you make money is taking people's money who give it to you willingly, right? And the way over time that you are profitable is that you understand how price moves more than other people on average, so they willingly continue giving you their money. Sometimes when you're wrong, you give your money to, some willy-nilly noob who just guessed right? Sometimes that happens, but over time you're profitable. Profitability over time, not perfect trading every time. But, if you get in the habit of selling tops of ranges and buying bottoms of ranges, you're going to do pretty well. Okay? Especially after a monumental move that didn't just do something like this. Like, if it were doing this and here, let's do this better. If it boom, this, and then consolidated here, okay, I wouldn't be shorting that. It'd probably bust up. Okay, with some low, some higher lows formed and a little bit of retracement, just tiny, baby retracements, like a red day here, red day there, 2 red days, 1 green day, another red day, consolidation, bust out. I wouldn't short that. But this is a monumental move up to the top of a range. And if you want to see the range, even though it's out of this triangle, there's still a horizontal range on Ethereum. It is there, okay? So you had so kind of like those 2 boxes that I had on Bitcoin, watch. You had one range here, and when it broke out of that range, guess what happened? It printed a massive red candle. See this candle right there? After it broke out of the range. And then it set up another range here. A lower range. Not quite as low as Bitcoin's. Bitcoin's actually was exactly spot on line to line, which is why 34.8 is kind of my target, my favorite target. Even though it doesn't agree with my EMA trading on the daily, strong moves often only go down to the daily 10, but monumental moves, I don't know. I don't know. I just think it's going to go lower than that, folks. So let me make this a different color for you. There you go. That's 2 ranges. It's at the top of a range. It didn't put in its time to consolidate, just a little bit to push past this. It went past it after a monumental move up. I don't know. That's when I like to sell or short. So, could I be wrong? Absolutely. This is a massive looking move up. It could keep going. I'm not giving financial advice. If you're bullish, then be bullish. I'm simply letting you know what I'm thinking and letting you know that I think it's fairly urgent. And this could be a nasty, even though Bitcoin going back down to 36.5 or 34.8 isn't that nasty. But what I mean by nasty is it could be very immediate. So folks can't get out of their longs and it's going to liquidate a lot of people. I really feel that there's going to be a fast move down, or it'll go sideways and kind of, look like consolidation for 2 or 3 days until the next weekly candle starts, Sunday, 8 p.m. New York time, New York City time, which would be 1 a.m. Monday, London time. So after that candle starts at that hour, you know, and so after moving sideways, a tiny bit of consolidation, maybe small red candle, small green candle, and then a fast move down. Maybe not too far down. Maybe not, you know, actually probably not down to 1800. I would say down to 21 to 2000. 2 to 2100. But I don't know. I think this could be a fast one, and I think it's going to liquidate a lot of people. So be careful. That's your update. And again, if you want like constant updates like this, I wouldn't say constant. I give minimum one a day. Even over the weekends, I typically do one either on Saturday or Sunday if there's something to look at. So 6 days a week, okay? But sometimes I give like today I've given 4 to my Patreon community. So and I'm giving this to you all here because I don't know. I know I have a lot of YouTube followers, subscribers who watch my stuff who aren't on Patreon to get this, and I typically don't give this out, you know, to YouTube, but I'm doing it because I think it's urgent, and I want you to know what my true north is. That's why I'm here. And also take this with a grain of salt. I've been wrong a few times before. I could absolutely be wrong now, but I think it's urgent. So peace out. I'm packing some bags up, going on a small trip with my wife. She's got family stuff going on. She's from Mexico, so I will catch y'all later. I might not be on YouTube for a few days, and we'll see you later.